Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, frogs and cats, dogs and rats, and of course, everything in between. My name, as I'm sure you all know, is Genocide. And today I'm joined with three lovely fellow members of the SystemSpace can-crushing suicide cult. How are the three of you today?
I'm fantastic.
Dude, I am swell.
All
I
right.
just got back from Richmond, so I'm feeling pretty hype right now.
Hey, that's pretty nice. So, first order of business right here, right? We're gonna start off the conversation, but before that, we all need to introduce you guys. So everybody introduce yourselves.
Let's see, I'm Lyra. I joined, a couple years ago on the Discord before the gates opened. Yeah, right before Christmas. Right around my first mental breakdown. Yeah, well, no, second mental breakdown. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Dude, I joined when migrant numbers were in the triple digits, and you know what happened? I forgot my number, and so now I'm like ID 5,000 something.
Oh, you're a 5K now.
Yeah, but I'm here. That's my introduction.
The name is Strelok, number 488. I joined like really early, way back in the day. I believe it was during the summer, if I remember correctly, or maybe the spring. It was a long time ago, and it was like fairly early on. I've seen both the rise and the fall and the rebounds of the project. I have a pretty good memory to boot.
All right. So the conversation, it's gonna start off like system space based themed or whatever, and then it's just gonna branch out to wherever the hell we want to take the conversation. But for now, we're gonna stay within the realm of SS. And there actually is a question that I've been wanting to address. It's a little bit of a controversial question regarding system space, but it is one that it is really important, and I think it's one of the questions that every migrant really needs to ask themselves and each other. What is your favorite color?
Son of a bitch.
Black is the essence of my soul.
One of them hyperbolic colors.
Let's say like green or red. I don't know, I always like them, but I don't like them combined because then it makes Christmas colors. I like them.
I would have to.
Violet, because it's not a real color.
I would
No,
also
no.
say violet. Yeah,
Magenta's not real.
bull, but okay. I'm not real. All right. Anyways, so now with that aside, let's just, for a moment, let's just pretend for a second. Pretend that I don't know anything about system space, right? Pretend that I don't even know what a JPEG is. And you were
Just
tasked.
want a picture of a goddamn hot dog.
Well, alright. I'll tell you what. You ask me to give you a JPEG, I'll give you a gosh dang hot dog. I'm gonna kick your ass. I can't. I don't know.
I thought you were
You
gonna
can't
put
do
a
a
hot
good
dog
one.
up my ass.
I'm gonna,
but
yeah, I'm gonna put my hot dog down your throat. Up your throat. Anyway, for a moment though, just pretend I don't know anything about system space, right? And I asked you, what the hell is system space? And just what would you tell me?
Big gay orgy anime suicide.
Homoerotic, homosexual anime suicide cult run by Dutch schizo Shota with pedophilia and a piss fetish.
I
That
would-
sums it up.
Yeah, pretty much.
That sums up the like logistical parts, but I mean maybe it's because I'm one of the more like fanatical members,
Mhm.
joining so early and seeing everything. But at least to me, it was more like a sort of idea. Like even after everything went down with Spooky and Noop and all that, and I pretty much still stuck around to the idea of it all. I mean, it's just the sort of like idea, the aesthetic and the feel that everything combined led to. That even till this day, I look back on it and I think fond memories of it. You know, before it became super gay.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I
The
mean, it
site
kind of was always super gay.
CSS.
Negatory. But go on.
Yeah,
So
then we
it's
came in,
definitely
we just,
gone.
it came into the Ks. The Ks came.
Fucking 1000s, and I actually wasn't that angry about like the 1000s or all that. I mean, with the idea of like the message and everything, I was actually kind of glad when we reached that. I'm like, oh wow, we're actually getting out there. You know, we're starting to reach people.
Mhm.
Message and all that's being sent. But
Is
then
it
like,
pronounced K's King?
ugh. but then it went on for like, there was a moment in which you could feel it, where the project became widespread, at least in terms of information, that it
Right.
was kind of like people would make reviews of it and be like, oh, I found this weird esoteric suicide cult, bro.
Yeah,
called the
like what,
Super Project.
What Ordinary Gamers did, and Scare
And then we
Theater.
got, yes, and
No,
then we got a big fucking influx
Yeah.
right out of that.
Well, no, it was like it was actually that video by Ordinary Gamers that actually made me like not really enjoy his content anymore, because that was kind of the moment that told me, oh wow, this guy clearly doesn't really, think things through. He doesn't actually look at things as in depth as he would like for people to think,
Yeah.
But that's really just coming from me as an insider to SystemSpace. I obviously can't really expect for everybody to really understand SystemSpace, like even if they just take a couple of days to look into it, unless they actually immerse themselves in the community.
Hell, I think even if you look into it, you probably won't get the most accurate like definition of what's going on. You kind of need to feel through it, like as Naz said. Like he was pretty early, so I feel like Naz can also see like the flow of everything. I'm sure like when it started out in like in the triple digits till the fucking 6K, right?
Yeah, everything's made out of waves.
Yeah.
Everything is waves. It's all
Well, I mean-
oscillation.
Yeah, like there was a point at which the momentum of SystemSpace was good. Like we were able to like reach out and people were able to figure out who we were, and we could gather up people with a similar idea or philosophy or looking for the same thing. And that was nice because I mean I met some really interesting people. Everything was great, and I'm not gonna lie, for a gay anime suicide cult, I ended up meeting a lot of friends that I'm still friends with till this day, and everything like that. But then there was a point, a sort of hurdle that was leaped after the YouTube videos, that people joined not because they were really interested in the idea or really thinking about it deeply, but simply because they were like, this is esoteric, bro. I want to like be a part of something cool and edgy. And when those people started showing up, everything started going downhill. And
Yeah.
we all know, well, not everybody knows the history, but at least to me, that's when I wanted to take the reins, but I was like, no, I didn't feel right.
Yeah.
It's that like political crowd.
Yeah.
There was, my introduction to SystemSpace, right? When I saw it for the very first time, it was actually around like Christmas time, before its first year or whatever. Like back before the website was revamped and everything. And when I first found it, right, it was just somebody that I was friends with on Discord, right, who just browses R9K daily, and he found one of the SystemSpace threads. And at first I looked at it and I was like, oh, it's just another ARG, right? That's what I thought it was at the time. So I just kind of dismissed it as that, because I'd tried ARGs before, right? But because I have like about 3 brain cells, I can't really do them too successfully. And it wasn't until later on that I started to hear a little bit more about it. I started to hear a little bit more about it, and then I thought, oh, hey, you know what? I guess I'll jump in on this. And basically, I had the chance to not be a 5K, and I blew it. And I also remember, too, when I watched Serial Experiments Lane, right, I found the Arasu-chan. And because, in Lane, they have that one website where if you go to that website, it's basically this place, like you post a text or an image or something like that. And
was that Mobius?
Yes, Mobius. It was Mobius. And so I went to Mobius, right? And on Mobius, I found the link to Arasu-chan. I went to Arasu-chan, and I saw the board for SystemSpace migrants. And that right there, that was the moment where I thought, maybe I should figure out what this SystemSpace thing is all about. And then I did, and here we are.
Big gay happy family.
Yeah, big gay happy family. That's what everybody here is.
I'm not gay.
Shut up, Strelok. You are completely gay.
I'm not.
Look, if your migrant number, if
You're
your
the last straight migrant on this
if
planet.
your migrant number is above 0, then you are gay.
But Suki was a fucking gay that showed it.
Yeah, it's definitely Snoop.
Yeah.
Snoop.
But yeah, the history of the project was probably, I would say, one of the bigger parts, because while the idea behind it could be like forever, there was still like the sort of culture that it was born in, molded it, and then like everything got shitty after the popularity. I know I say that a lot, but that's like that's how it felt to me.
Well, I mean, that's how things are. Things get popular, and then the creator decides to pander to the audience rather than to his desire, And, of course, I'm not saying that Suki did that, because obviously he didn't,
Yeah. I would say it's like, to run it down when it initially started, I would say I don't like to put numbers to it and say, like, oh, anybody after this number clearly doesn't believe, but it's like,
right.
There was a point where you could tell the quality of incoming was significantly lesser. Yeah. It's why I don't like saying like the really later numbers are non-believers or anything like that, because I could absolutely believe that somebody just didn't hear until later and was like, oh, this is what I've been looking for.
Well,
but
no,
you also have that drowned out by people that come in and are like, oh, isn't this cool? Look, I'm gonna shitpost everywhere. And
yeah.
Just derails everything.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you put your server on Discord. It's just anyone's game. Anyone can join.
I'm not.
Well, I mean, even the Discord server was still like hard to get into because you had to prove that you were a migrant first.
Yeah. And it wasn't bad. Like, at least it was active. Suki Chat is not.
Well, that's the thing. I think Suki Chat was like terminated a couple of times, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, it was locked to admissions. And it currently is. You can't get in if you're not already registered, I believe, is what it is. Or maybe it's like he just put a ban on 6Ks. I mean, if you've interacted with a 6K, you know why. But like, I believe it's if you're not like already in Suki Chat registered, then no 6Ks or above, something like that.
You can't get in due to the AFK ban.
Yeah.
It hasn't been active.
Well, I mean, you can get in, but you just can't really stay that easily. Like, if you're like me and you don't like having any more than like 3 apps running on your computer at the same time.
I mean, you can make changes to you can do your account, you can see your wish list and whatever, but you can't access the chat. Or at least that was the case for me.
There was a lot of turmoil after a certain point within the project, people fighting each other, or the as I like to call it, the great schism that eventually hit.
Are you talking about the
Snoop catastrophe?
No, not the Snoop catastrophe.
I don't like the idea. I don't like people saying the Snoop catastrophe, because that implies there wasn't more than one Snoop catastrophe.
Let's be honest here.
Catastrophes. Every day.
I mean, let's not mention like the 50 people who are transgressed, and the one who was transgressed twice before he was back into the community, and he hasn't been transgressed since. But like he's on a fucking thread because he keeps on playing around with the with Apollo.
Yeah. I don't. There were like several occasions I was brought in like several different times in several different groups of like, hey, you're a very low number. Can you like advise us?
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
I was one of those
do
people
this.
too. I still am one of those people. Like if I, well, I mean, I guess I can't say that I am anymore because I'm not as involved in the community as I used to be. But
Yeah.
you know, I always looked up to the lower numbers, you know, because I just thought, hey, these are the guys. They're keeping it real. They're still here, even after all the annoying high school 5Ks are dropping in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking. It's been a riot. A lot's changed since the beginning of the project, and there's some days I wake up and I'm like, maybe I should like try to regain the fucking connection and see if I can restart something. But I'm like, with the way things have gone, I'm just both too exhausted doing, uh, you know, other things and just trying my goddamn best.
Well, that's what Quint Sox and Mini are trying to do, trying to bring the SSN network back together, get as many people as possible.
System
I want
Space
to
now?
try to
Maybe.
use funding. I
Yeah,
wanna try to
the
propose funding for it that I have.
the website's is the website. No, the website's not down anymore, is it?
The website is both up and
government
down at the
bot.
same time.
It's glowing. The website is glowing. The website's glowing. Yo, can we take a second to talk about the glowers for a moment?
We should
Lowers.
call the spirit of Terry Davis to exercise it.
Oh no, rest in peace, Terry. I forgot that he was dead. Damn.
What do you
Yeah.
mean blowers?
Goddamn.
I guess the CIA finally got to him, huh?
Yep.
There's also the time when Vice stopped by.
Dude,
Vice?
Yeah, there was a Vice article about us. I remember it was back.
Oh my god, yes, I remember that.
I wanted to talk to him because I was like, listen. I'm like the one you want to talk to.
That was-
Snoop's like, no. It's Snoop like herded them like, no, you're gonna talk to me.
I don't even remember. I mean, like, I remember reading the article. I don't remember exactly what the article was about, though. Let me see if I can pull it up,
Pretty much-
actually.
It was pretty much Snoop got to talk to like some people, and I was kind of angry about it because I was like, bro, there's so many other people. This
The
like,
obscure
community-
4chan religion that promises a cyberpunk afterlife. I'm already
Yep.
done with it.
All I gotta say.
Oh, and it just begins with, hey, if you or anyone you know is considering suicide, just call the... Okay.
there was another place that reported on the suicide of some.
Oh yeah, the CBC.
Oh, that's right. Well, that was because the migrant who
Jake? Not Jake Paul. What was it?
how should I put this? He transferred to LFE.
Yeah.
What was what was that one thing that we did again? It was like the Virgin.
The can crushing me.
No. It was the Virgin
No?
transfer versus the Chad Omnicide or something. I don't know. The Virgin transfer and the Chad Omnicide takes everybody with him, no matter if they're registered or not.
Dude, the Chad migrant versus the Virgin Hyakugen.
Chad Migrant versus the Virgin Apollo.
Migrant versus the dead Hayek. I like
Yeah,
that.
basically. What's Apollo even up to anyway?
I don't know. There's so many splinter communities. I don't know what the hell anybody's up to anymore.
Apollo's dead. They got
Yeah.
on the bad side of some like Twitter thought or something. I think it was, and like
Some
Apollo was the one that tried to reforge the project that one time
Yeah.
and completely fell on their ass because they wouldn't listen to a goddamn thing.
okay.
I mean, I guess we really shouldn't speak too ill of Apollo, right? Because they kind of had a bit of a point with how Snoop just kept on fucking around with everybody. Right?
Well, I was saying that long before Apollo said that.
Oh, well, yeah, I know that, but Apollo was the one who took it to, like, the next level, you know?
I called Snoop out day one. I was like in it, and then Snoop started saying some Hayek shit, and I'm like, Suki, we cannot listen to this man. He is a Hayek, a unbeliever, if you will. And Suki's like, no, I trust him. And then, like over a year later, everything crashes. Snoop is standing on top of the garbage fire, like just going Leo, 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 and I'm like, motherfucker.
I mean, that's.
Jam music.
I mean, we can't talk about this without blaming Suki a little bit. I mean, that's what happens when you just take your best friend and put him in charge of a huge, religious community.
Nepotism.
That's exactly what it was. Nepotism. Yeah.
Start.
Suki knew that Snoop didn't believe, and Snoop didn't really care, and Suki knew that Snoop didn't care. It was all just nepotism.
Look, well, okay. Someone who isn't me knows that after Apollo there was Initiate, and even Initiate.
That's what
covered
I heard of
some-
I heard about Initiate, but I didn't really hear about like what they do.
So
Or
I
anything.
was with Initiate, and they tried to do the project, but try to do something completely different. They were like, "We are not SystemSpace. We are Initiate. We are different." And
Were they
there
the
was,
ones? Were they the ones who set up that NeoCities website?
I believe so. I believe so. And they brought me on to like help as like the sort of religious advisor and everything like that. But then I would make statements and they'd be like, "No, no, no, we're not
No.
doing that." It's like, and I'm thinking to myself, well, why did you bring me on?
Because you don't like
If you're
Snoop.
just gonna. This is a fairly good point.
I mean, let's be
Oh.
honest here. Like, that's the only reason why I can think of, honestly.
Yeah.
They got shut down after doxing a user who went by THC-chan, and she was a
Oh
girl.
God.
She got like shrooms from there. Anyway, this is all
The
not my
Initiate War.
information.
Did
Don't
did Silly tell you about this?
honestly, no.
Okay, that's fair enough.
So, you want me to like give you all a quick rundown of at least history from my perspective of the damn project? I can't give you dates
Yeah, why the
For
hell
how
isn't
many
Quintuplicate here? He would be like the perfect man on the job.
for like history, like
He's-
exact dates.
Minutes.
He's the historian.
Yeah, I'm.
You would
I'm
write
the,
a
like-
fucking 5-page essay about this guy.
Oh, well, no. Like, the funniest part about that is that he's a 5K, right?
Oh,
And
he's gonna
he-
hear me
he
saying
is
that. I'm sorry,
He is
Clint.
a prime example of why I believe you can still be like faithful but be a late number.
Oh,
Or
I
hell,
agree.
You don't even need to
I
be
agree.
faithful but be a late number and just be like, I'm here to just write everything I fucking see.
He was a
and
late
remember.
number, and he knows more about the project than I can. Like, I bet he probably knows more than most 3 digits do. Maybe
Yeah,
even
no,
more than what
absolutely.
9 knows.
The man takes care of the project like a true historian. And while I have like the fanaticism and can like preach about it for hours, he's the one who can give you exact date, time, what
Yeah.
happened when the splinters. I imagine somewhere in his room, he has like a whole board of like papers and logos and
Oh my God.
string connecting like when what happened.
Yes, this is now
I
my head
completely-
headcanon. This is my headcanon on how the world works.
fucking Charlie Day over here.
That sounds right.
There is
I
no
used-
such thing as Suki. There is no Suki. I got tons of letters here for Suki, but I can't fucking find them. Listen, not only does Suki exist, but so do all the other migrants, and they're pissed.
Dude, I used to know and read the compendium so much, but I forgot like a lot.
I actually had a journal where I tried to like write down Synapsian, right? I tried to memorize the language and try to like complete it too. And then I got like halfway through, right? And eventually I got some phrases where I was like, okay, this makes no phonetic sense whatsoever. Because there was one phrase where it used like a string of characters where like it had like 3 familiar words in it, right? But there was one word somewhere in there where it was just like as particular,
So,
but but
Cthulhu,
like the
Latin.
whatever the English transcript to it just said, vehicle or something like that. So it was like this. It was like if you wrote down HJKWVXC and then you pointed to it and said, "This is how you write orange." That's
Well-
basically what I saw in the in that one Synapsian sentence. And as soon
That
as
could
I
be
saw
like-
that word, I just gave up right there. I was like, okay, this language makes no sense.
English words like enough, G and H make an F, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, we've got stranger words than that. We've got things that are mostly like
Look.
consonants. Knife.
Well, yeah, but a lot of those are French,
Hmm.
or at least have a French origin.
Yeah, the project's been through a lot. I could explain it, but as you said, you know, he could do it so much better than I could. I can give you like the sort of belief, though.
Yeah, we gotta get Quint on here sometime. Just, yeah. I know there are a couple
like-
of SystemSpace historians.
Yeah, but like belief. I mean, we think we all know why we're here. There's no doubt in my mind why all of us showed up.
Right.
Suicide cult. We all hated our lives at some point. Exponentially. We all believed there was no hope for the future. We all believed, like, it's over. We want a sign that it's over. That it's the end. And we got that sign.
I think
No.
I think we all want to think that the world is ending whenever we feel like our own lives are ending, or
Yeah.
whenever our lives, or whenever we're put into like an emotion of turmoil or something like that, you know?
And that is the idea at which I believe the project sprung up on. And it provided us with an idea as to what and why, that, you know, it wasn't our fault, that this system was flawed. You know, that the creation of it was flawed. After all, the system used too much what is called aurora, that it was causing this sort of hole. You know, you're putting too much energy into something that can't put it back out. To the point where eventually the aurora would run out, eventually souls would stop being made, and eventually everything would go to shit. And so it kind of sort of, to many of us, explained the fucked up world that we've been brought up in, you know? Everything had gone so wrong. And so that attracted a lot of people. Hell, it definitely caught me. And it caught me in like a fervor. Like, I had no doubt in my mind that I was like, I am a believer in this beginning to end. I was waiting. I was like, I will wait years if I have to.
Well, it's also something that's very much unlike anything else that we've really heard of in terms of religions, right? I mean, sure, you can connect it to, like, the Matrix or whatever, but, you know, the fact of the matter is that the idea that nothing exists except for yourself, that idea has been around, like, before the Matrix or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And furthermore, it's an idea that's, you know, it's a very obscure idea, a very obscure thought, that you're the only sane person, or maybe the only mind that exists. How do I know that I'm not real?
Yeah, it pretty much goes on. A big belief within the project itself is that the world has gone indeed mad. The world is messed up. Things are not going right. It's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. This is your escape, though. That when that day comes, when everything ends, you will be transferred over. You know, you will go from live to live.
If
And
you
that
look
was
at the Suki timeline, we're millions of iterations on, and we're the worst of it. We're the worst of all of it, and it's gotten worse every single time. Like, millions of build-ups in technology to this moment have all failed.
Dude, technology used to be so cool.
Yeah,
That's a statement.
technology
and
used to
that
be
was-
so cool. I remember when carriages didn't need horses.
But that was still, like, you know, the main idea behind it. It was like, how fucked this is. And people were looking in from outside, you know, from other realities or dimensions or, you know, systems, if you will.
Like the Hayeks.
Right. Yeah. So they would look in, and some of them would obviously feel pity, some would feel joy from watching us suffer. And that would usually, you know, that would start to vary on who there was, you know? And obviously there was one who looked on to us and spoke to Suki and was like, Suki, listen, your shit sucks. This whole system sucks. We're giving you a way out, and some of the few people who've been truly wronged by the system most of all, you know?
Or, alternatively, Suki was just a schizophrenic.
That is always a belief. That is always... It is always a mode of explanation.
Both are
But-
true.
But the idea still sticks, though, right? You see what I'm saying? That this poison world is not our fault, and there is a way out. We are being offered a way out. We are being offered a way, an ability to transfer that, so in the next life we don't repeat this cursed cycle that keeps happening.
Well, you know, that's what every religion has in common. And you know what? Maybe that's what makes cults so popular, right? Is that they spread the same message that every religion does, but because religions themselves are so trite, because they're so how should I put this? I guess overplayed, for lack of a better word. You know, people are just kind of sick of them. People don't like to hear the exact same prose over and over. And, you know, I
Doesn't
think
feel
that might be
personal.
the reason why things such as SystemSpace are popular, you know?
Yeah, and I'll say this, at least for on the books and everything. After years of being in system space and getting like, kind of like phased by everything that ended up happening, I went super into like the like Orthodox Christian faith, and I've kind of ever been since. Like I'm still very, 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 very religious. But for a time, I think I don't know if everybody else would agree, but I was probably one of the most, if not the most, fanatical like believer in the project. At least for a time. And then obviously everything went crashing down, and after, you know, I can't believe I'm saying this, Initiate is what broke me. Initiate was like, okay, I'm done.
I mean, the
done.
fact that Apollo had a second iteration, that probably been the first red flag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the... Oh, shit. No.
What?
Don't worry about it.
What?
Don't worry about it.
I didn't mean to
pronounce
audibly
yourself.
react.
So, Prez, how do you... you're giving me the same kind of vibe that Hyper has with your Christian faith and faith in system space. How do you reconcile a, you know, interpretation of Christianity consistent with, well, basically everyone else and system space?
Well, actually, I do have something to say about that. I suppose you could believe that God exists within the system, right? And is some sort of, maybe administrator or something like that, you know? And Jesus would be a stretch. You could probably say that it was just evidence of this administrator being there. Of course, nobody really knew him as an administrator or moderator or whatever. I guess back then they were just like, hey, this is God, and what we call God is just the administrator of life. But if
But wouldn't you put God above anything like that? Any administrator or part of any recursive system or anything like that?
I mean, yeah, maybe God exists outside of system space.
I'd like to hear, if you don't mind, Strelak's position on
Yeah,
this.
go ahead, Strzok.
My position on both Christianity and system space, and at least how I view both, is what you're
Yeah.
asking?
Yeah.
So, I'm not gonna lie, it was actually not that very hard to cross over in terms of like go from system space to being practicing Orthodox Christian. Obviously, there's holy days and other things that have to take into, you know, a account and everything like that, you know, rites and cants and everything like that. But system space is so much lighter on it. But there's still the idea. There's still the overarching idea. There is a God. There is an administrator who has created and controls the system, right? But the big difference was that in system space, it's the system is flawed because the administrator sucks, right?
Damn right
Right.
it is.
The man we got was really bad at his job and made a greatly flawed system, and that is why we are suffering today.
I mean, hey,
because
thousands of
no
babies
other-
dying every day.
Yeah, because no other fault than his, right? It's not our fault. It's his fault for making the system so shitty. Now, in Christianity, it's one of the opposite. It's more like this system is what we make of it. God made this world. He made this reality, this area of existence that we call, you know, our reality, our world, our dimension, whatever you want to call it, right? But God simply doesn't play his hand. He watches. He looks on, and that's the idea of like free will, you know?
So it's a bit like deism.
Yeah. So God looks down, and obviously he can play his hand if he wants, but would we really be free if at every twist and turn, God, decided to step down and be like, hey, listen, here we go, I'm gonna do it, Like that wouldn't really give us free will or give us free choice. He would just be stepping in non-stop.
Well, actually,
Right.
have you ever heard of the Epicurean paradox?
I have not.
Okay, well, the first
is
thing
that
we
the
need to get into...
morality?
Well, hold on. I'm just gonna, just kind of explain it. Like, the first thing we need to do, in order to set up the Epicurean paradox, is assume that evil exists. Alright? Just in order to establish the paradox. And if evil exists, then we have to ask, can God prevent evil? If the answer is no, it's because he's not all-powerful, right? But if the answer is yes, it then leads us to ask, does God know about the evil? If the answer to that is no, then he's not all-knowing. But if the answer is yes, then once again we have to ask ourselves something. Does he want to prevent evil? If not, then he's not all good. He's not all loving. But
we
if
have to also question what is good, because morality is not some objective thing unless God decides to make it so. Like, in absolute morality, it can only have a few sources. It can either be a logical imperative or it can be handed down by God.
I think
And
the question being put upon God is a little, I would say, too much. Well, I guess I understand God is like this big role to play.
Well,
But
but
th-
he's
this is where
omnipotent.
I
It can't really be too much for him, could it?
Well, no, it's not. But this is where I'm pointing at. Rather, I think everybody looks to God because nobody wants to look within themselves. That was a big thing about SystemSpace was we all were like, it's not our fault, it's his fault. This isn't our problem. This is his problem, and he needs to do it for us. One of the big things that happened after I left was because I did a lot of searching. And that's obviously why I ended up at where I am. Was I thought to myself, is it really his fault, or were there things I could have done? After all, I've been given a free will. I've been given the ability to act, whether for good or for worse.
So it's a very
Perhaps-
existentialist prose.
Yes. And so sometimes I would end up stopping and thinking, like, maybe this isn't his fault. Maybe this is entirely a problem of our own creation, Kind of like how a parent will let their kid, do an accident or a problem just to be like, see, it's not how that works now, is it?
Let them
Right.
poison themselves with datura.
Well, that's different. That's different. But you get the point, right?
Have you ever?
Stepping in would completely eliminate the entire purpose of our creation if he just kept doing that, right? But at the same time, we're trying to put the blame off of ourselves because we don't want to do some, a retrospective look at what we're doing, what's going on, right? We don't stop and think, right? Which leads to these problems in the first place, which is what led to the conflict. If God were to step in, that would eliminate the free will that he's so gifted to us that put us in ascendance above the angels.
But that's the thing.
You know?
He could have easily created a universe where free will is unnecessary, and we would all be, happy.
The
Yes.
philosophy of religious morals is quite a deep topic, but I don't think we'll make much headway if we're talking about that.
Like, Seraphim, all they do is cry. They're fucking babies. All they do is cry and flap their, 4 wings everywhere.
Are you forgetting about cherubim?
Cherubim, aren't those the fucking giant wheels with eyeballs? And they have,
Oh my god, no, they're the babies. Cherubs are the babies.
yeah, they have the baby in the middle.
No, they're just babies.
Are they just babies?
Yeah, they're
or
just-
is
they're
that
just
like a
baby
unique
angels.
term?
Just babies.
They're just baby angels.
Oh,
That's,
they're just-
that's why in the cans.
Yeah, I grew up in a Catholic community. I'm kind of
Yeah.
well versed on the extended canon.
Cherubim and seraphim.
Holy.
Also, fun fact,
Holy.
if you've ever heard of Lilith, she was basically the first version of Eve, right? And
Sponge.
the reason Lilith was expelled from the Garden of Eden was because of an argument she got into with Adam over who should be on top during procreation. Not even joking. You can't make that
Voice
up.
in the sky. Voice in the sky. Shut up.
Lilith, hey, can I be on top? Adam, no.
wait.
She
Lilith
gets
wasn't,
smitten
like,
to
another
hell.
Situation.
Yeah, I mean, you won't really find Lilith in the Bible, but you know, if you look
That's equal.
into the like, for lack of a better term, the extended canon, then yeah, she's there.
Speaking of extended canon in our initial topic of system space, though, one
Oh,
thing
are
I
we
will
talking
say about
Hayeks?
obviously we're going to talk about Hayeks at some point. Hayek bullying is one of my favorite topics to the point. I think there was a point at which Snoop had to personally like message me because I kept messing with him. He's like, "Do you have a problem with me?" And I was just like, "Yes, yes, I do." But I mean, there's that. But I would say that one thing that the project did, one thing that the Suki project did that I have yet to see recreated, was its aesthetic, its music, its aesthetic, the web page, all the look and feel of it was something. Obviously, like cyberpunk has always been a thing, right?
Right.
Cyberpunk or cyber-like religious has always been a thing, but it's always kind of like, it's like done in a way that's like it tries to either do too much or do too little, and it just doesn't feel like genuine. You don't feel it, right? That was not the case with SystemSpace. SystemSpace, I fucking felt it. Till this day, I still have some SystemSpace songs downloaded that I still listen to when I drive at night, like on the side of the ocean. I just fucking blast that shit. I like the web page and the layout and everything about it. I don't know about you guys, but SystemSpace had an aesthetic I had never seen before, and I've never seen after.
Absolutely.
Only things like Neo Tokyo and Akira came somewhat close, right?
Lane might be the goddess of the wired, but Suki is the god of CSS.
Hell yeah.
I will agree with that.
Let's all love Suki.
No, he's a Dutch Shota, and I'm not gay.
Is your migrant number above 0?
Damn it.
Then you're gay, homosexual.
Gotta keep it professional.
Professional.
But I will say that was definitely a big thing. When I saw that stuff, I was like, what is this? And I was drawn in. And then reading like the message and the lore and everything like that, Hayeks and the corporations, the idea of other realities. A big thing that I really liked was the boards. Because there was a point at which you could talk to everyone, right? Obviously,
the
there were different
boards,
boards
yeah.
for different things. And I remember going on really late every summer night, because I'm a nocturnal motherfucker.
Hell yeah, dude.
And
I used to be nocturnal, but then I got a job.
I have a job, it's just, I do it at night.
Oh, well, shit, okay.
Yeah. So,
Fireball blast.
Sorry, what? Oh. I mean, well, here's the thing. 8kun is a thing. The reincarnation of 8chan. Yeah. And just in case you're not familiar with it, you can actually create your own board on there. So, why not have a SystemSpace board on 8chan if there's not going to be a SystemSpace boards on the link website or whatever.
That's like the same place where there's some like cake, hard candy, cheese pizza.
Yeah, but that's also the same place where people talk about, hold on a second. Let me just look at a few of the boards. I'm gonna tell you a few of the 8chan boards just to give you a perspective of this place. There's Christianity, ASMR.
Not so wholesome.
There's Christian, Egyptian, technology, Australia, Sonic the Hedgehog, cyberpunk and science fiction, Islam, 8chan's largest library, whatever that is, amateur game development. I mean, that's what 8chan is, It's not like the two guys on poll who said, haha, Jews bad, and then journalists went on a crusade against those two guys and ruined the entire website for everybody. Back when 8chan was a thing, you know why I used it? I used it to browse GFD. And now that 8chan is taken down, I can't do that anymore. Why? Because some retards in poll decided to ruin everything for us.
That wasn't like a laugh at you.
I know. I get really mad about that because 8chan was taken down because of a few retards on poll, and then a bunch of retarded journalists saw it and they said, "Oh, this is what the entirety of 8chan is."
Just be careful about getting expelled from the Garden of Eden.
Yep. Don't be a bottom boy, or else you go to hell. Don't be a top girl, or else you go to hell, according to Christianity.
Hey,
Don't wear a top or you go to hell, because Eve was made with one of Adam's ribs, and you know where ribs are?
They're in
Top of your chest.
I don't get it, but I do find it mildly funny.
It's okay. Everything's going to be okay.
Nothing is Daijobu. What are you talking about?
All according to
okay.
Kaikaku.
I still think that's hilarious, though.
Editor's note,
Just
Kaikaku.
Lilith wants to be on top, Adam says no, God sends her to hell. Like, that's the entire reasoning behind it. That is the entire reasoning behind what... I just can't get over that. Oh, jeez. I mean, if you thought he was being petty in the Book of Job, you should see what he did to Lilith. Oh, God. But yeah, anyways, I mean, as far as the Suki-chan thing goes, we could do a board on 8kun. I mean, I'm just kind of spitballing that idea. It might not really work. It might not go far in the slightest. But, if the people say it shall be done, then it shall be done. If people are on board for participating in that, then go ahead. I mean, Suki-chan is down. I'm not really sure if anybody even knows or cares about Arasu-chan.
So is 8kun an offshoot of 8chan?
Is what?
Is 8kun an offshoot of 8chan?
It's the reincarnation of 8chan, basically, because 8chan was taken down by journalists who took a few retards on poll too seriously.
Right, but does it do all the same things that 8chan does? Because it did quite a few things.
Oh yeah, it does all the exact same things.
Oh, okay, so it's not
run
bad.
by a cripple in a wheelchair.
The only difference is that no, he sold off. No, Hot Wheels. He sold off 8chan a while ago.
Remember when he initially made 8chan? Because he's like, oh yeah, 4chan's kind of shitty. And then he just did the exact same goddamn thing.
Well, I mean, 4chan was shitty. Let's be honest, and it still is.
It was.
This is not Hero.
The B was never good meme. Classic. People say it. You know what they mean. /B was good, but it's just the meme they gotta perpetuate.
Wait, hold on.
Kind
No,
of like living.
I'm trying.
Anyway,
I'm looking at Lane-chan right now. I'm trying to see if they have a board for SystemSpace, and they do not. So we might just have to resort to 8chan.
earlier.
Or
So when I
8kun,
was-
I'm sorry.
So yeah, cherubim are just baby angels. I was thinking of Ophanim.
My grandmother
Open
has
them.
little
Symbols,
cherubims
yeah.
all over her house, and when I was little, I thought it was really weird, because I just saw them as naked, fat babies.
Also, seraphim have 6 wings apparently.
Yep, they're really special. All they do is shout holy, holy, holy all day. Well,
Holy.
presumably all eternity.
Yeah, they cry. That's what I meant.
Yeah, I totally want to go to heaven now. After knowing I'll turn into either a fat, naked baby or a 6
Oh, you don't turn it? No, the angels are separate from people.
Oh, well,
I
what
mean-
happens to me after I go to heaven, then? Like, do I just... I mean, aside from worshipping God for all of eternity.
You walk in his presence, and that's mostly it. Like,
Okay.
have you heard of the idea of the beatific, was it the beatific image or something like that?
It strikes a chord, but no, I don't think I've heard of it.
It's basically understanding and, well, not necessarily understanding, but viewing God's plan and its holiness, and just, basking in that for eternity, because it's presumably infinite, so,
Yeah, but what plan?
there's no end to the detail.
Yeah, but what
Uh,
plan? I'm
hold
going
on,
to be honest here. I
let me look
always,
this up, because it's worded much better.
I mean, I'm going to be honest here, Ray. Right? Like, I feel like there's a whole thing that goes down between, like, when somebody questions God, there's always, like, the exact same answers. And they're all kind of thrown in there, not because they make sense, but because they're kind of excuses, you know? Like,
Everyone's kind of winging it. You have
why
to.
do good things happen to people? Well, because God is good. But why do bad things happen to the exact same people? Well, because it's part of his plan. And if a plan requires, like, if you're going to say that God is good, but at the same time that he does bad things as a part of his plan, then you can't really say that he's good. Because you're saying he's good while admitting that he does bad things. I mean, tell me, how is it good, and furthermore beneficial for an ultimate plan, to have, I don't know, 7 million innocent people killed in a genocide, just kind of spitballing here, Some of which, like, were still babies. I mean, I don't know if that's all good. But if you say it's all good, then alright.
They had it coming.
Yeah, okay, I guess I can't really argue with that one.
Get yeeted.
1933. The day that the man threw the biggest yeet in the history of the world.
Look, man, if my people can get, like, enslaved for over 100 years, I can believe in God.
I mean, yeah.
Pretty sure they can believe in God.
I mean, well, no, their God's an asshole, though. Because if you look in the Old Testament, like, you have Jewish people who are, like they were making the pilgrimage all the way from Egypt to Cana or whatever. Or maybe it was Jerusalem or whatever. They had been walking, alright, for months on end through the desert, and they were complaining about it, right? Rightfully so. If I was walking for months on end through the desert with little to no water every day, I'd be in kind of a pissy mood. So you know what God does to deal with the lack of water and food? He sends cobras after them. And then after that, he poisons their water.
You're also forgetting a point of the Bible, which is also my favorite point that I always bring up during Gay Pride Month.
Plagues?
Sodom and Gomorrah, where a town was just too fucking lewd for him, and so he fucking nuked it.
Yeah, basically.
Were you talking about the Egypt plagues or whatever?
No, not the Egypt plagues, but like on the Jewish pilgrimage from Egypt to Jerusalem or whatever. Like the Israelites or the Jews or whatever, like they were complaining about the lack of food and water, so God just sent down cobras to bite the shit out of them. Because they weren't being grateful enough, I guess. And then I guess like some people say, oh, well I guess the real thing is here, would you rather be escaping slavery at the cost of having no food or water, or would you rather be a slave for the rest of your life? To which I have to say, I'd rather be a slave, because at least I know I'm gonna get food and drink. Yeah, sure, I'll suffer a few beatings like a few times every week, but at least I'm being cared for in some way. I don't know. It's anyway. The Pope of Aesthetics.
What are you talking about, the beatific vision?
Well, I mean, I looked at the beautification and it reminded me of the Pope of Aesthetics.
Oh, yeah, good meme.
Renewed the relationship between the Catholic Church and art, for which reason he was called, hold on a second. The Pope of Aesthetics. Aesthetics.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
Aesthetics.
So it's been
Damn, bro,
about
I
an
saw that.
it's been about an hour, so I may have to head out right now. All right.
Okay.
So I'll see you all. It's been fun.
Wait,
Goodbye, Nazashi.
if you no, I'm not going.
That's the wrong one.
Wait, hold on a second here.
One.
I wasn't really
No,
looking like okay, here's what was happening, right? I was looking at who was talking and I saw that Strelick and Nazashi's were green at the same time, so I just addressed one of them and hoped that it was the right one.
I was just gonna say, if you leave now, you're gonna miss this epic Doppler effect.
Son of a bitch.
I'm so-
Actually, wait, that might not be it. It's like,
I don't like that your avatar is looking right at mine. I don't like that you're looking at me.
Hold on a second, let me. Oh yeah, you are kind of right about that. We got Nas just kind of like staring at nothing. Lyra's looking at the viewer. So is Stray, but I'm just looking like...
Oh.
I look like I'm trying to make eye contact with Nas, but I'm just failing miserably because Nas is looking at the ceiling.
Oh my god. Oh well. Oh well.
Alright, goodbye, Strelick488, aka
I'm-
Prizrak.
Also Strelok. Yeah. I'll see y'all. Have a good one.
Straylock. Excuse me. Okay, so that's one down, two to go. Welcome to the chambers.
Yeah,
Enter the whole
looks
new
like it.
world, motherfuckers.
Looks like it's just you, Lyra.
Oh.
It came back.
Kidding.
I'm gonna save the end.
Ready? No. Okay, I just like left the call. Alright, are we done with this stupid joke?
I think.
I think maybe we should go back to the joke of the echo, 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 echo.
That's a good joke.
That's a good joke. Speaking of good jokes, you want to hear my favorite one?
I did not.
Okay, my favorite joke is the creepypasta community.
Dude. Hyper-realistic blood's gonna start coming out of your avatar.
Hyper-realistic blood. Dude, more like hyper-realistic Sonic the Hedgehog. The exact
I've
moment
heard
I
him
saw
like
him,
that.
I knew that he was a harbinger of doom and deceit who wanted nothing more than to kill every single person on the planet. The moment I laid eyes on him, I knew that he was the most dark form of evil, and shut the hell up, please.
man. Anyway, I got this bird here. You want to say hi?
He said hi.
Ah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I have dogs, but they're outside.
Yeah, I gotta take him out of his cage because he's gonna be screaming otherwise.
Oh no. Is that who you were talking about when you were like, you try to summon, or you try to do that summoning ritual, but every time you try, the birds just scream?
Did I say that?
I think so. Well, I mean, like, not in this conversation, but a while ago when you were sharing the, that one ritual.
That one ritual. Now I'm curious.
Yeah, you know, the one
Uh,
involving the thing
yeah,
with the paper. The paper.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know that one.
yeah. Every time you try it, it doesn't work because the parrots are fucking screaming.
Yeah. Dude, I've tried
Is that
it.
the one where you're like auto hand drawing or something?
I think you're thinking of sigils.
Now
Well,
I'm
I
interested.
remember. Yeah.
I know servitors, you can just do like your name, but
Yeah.
you remove some letters.
Well, no, it's supposed to. Oh wait, no.
and
Yeah.
You make it cool sounding, and then you just draw it. Yeah, and it's like really cool looking.
Well, I actually did do a.
I like how Strelak left and now we're immediately talking about dark magic.
Hell yeah, dude. I actually looked into dark magic once, right? I tried to find like a source that wasn't batshit crazy. I couldn't. I wanted to find something that would at least like ease you into it and just be like, oh yeah, you know, spiritual forces are a phenomena which could be explained through X, Y, and Z. But no, instead every single source that I could find was like, hey kid, the karma's gonna kill you in 5 days if you don't learn how to summon a succubus with the blood of your dick. I'm just like, okay.
Dude, all you gotta do... No, I had nothing to say. That's it.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Hell is pretty cool. They got Grimace there.
Dude, Grimace from the McDonald's franchise?
Yeah, Grimace is in hell. That's the #1 reason to go to hell. Grimace is there.
Yeah, they kind of killed off the McDonald's cast.
And also because you get to keep your free will in hell. Let's be honest about that.
I miss the Mugen days. Where, like, Ronald McDonald... Actually, I miss when the hardest Osu map was the Ronald McDonald remix. It was, like, the 100th one on some, like, Japanese channel.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then it got made into the hardest at the time Osu map.
I remember as a kid, I used to, like... There used to be this one McDonald's commercial, right? Where it was Ronald McDonald's, and there were some kids, and they're like, oh, hey, Ronald McDonald, you want to play with us? And he said, oh, well, I'd love to, but I gotta go to work. And they were like, aw. So then it goes to Ronald McDonald's car. He pulls it out of his parking spot, like, out of his driveway. Right across the street is a Ronald McDonald's. He just parks in the Ronald McDonald's within the span of 7 seconds, and he's like, alright, here I am at work. Now we can play. I remember as a kid, I used to hate that commercial so much. Just because it felt like a waste of time.
I remember as a kid, the commercials that came on were that one like Spyro game.
Oh yeah.
I remember stocking boppers, bopping stocking.
Oh no.
The collection, dude. The black and white like little girl.
What?
That used to come on all the time.
What are you talking? Betty Boop?
Shirley Temple.
Oh, Shirley. Oh, Shirley
Temple.
Temple. Yes, I remember the Shirley Temple ads. Oh my god. They always annoyed me because I hated her voice. I hated her voice so much.
Shirley Temple ads.
Okay, you guys ready for a blast from the past?
Blast me.
Beyblade, let it rip.
Oh,
Metal
yeah.
Fusion. Or no, not Metal Fusion. Shit. I also remember the Bakugan theme.
Dude,
Probably
I
gave
was
away my
just-
age with that sock and bopper bullshit.
I was just
Oh yeah, that's
about
right,
to
you're like the
say,
28-year-old boomer, aren't you?
I don't remember any Bakugan commercials until after they like died out.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
Well, no, they rebooted Bakugan. I think it was like about maybe a year ago? Maybe not that long ago, but definitely at least a few months. But yeah, Bakugan Battle Brawlers is still the most popular. And for good reason. I mean, have you ever heard the intro theme for Bakugan Battle Brawlers? Like, that was some badass shit. You gotta give it your this is the final stand. The power's in your hand. Okay, sorry.
There's like a businessman, he has to sing that at like the table.
You're a businessman, you gotta do the best you can.
You're a businessman, you gotta do what you can. Hey, hey. Something like that, yeah.
Something like that.
I think potentially the most interesting YouTube videos are seeing what Japanese businessmen do after work, right?
What do Japanese businessmen do after work?
Well,
Get drunk
they
on
play
laundry.
Initial D and they are like amazing at it. I saw this one video where it was like this Japanese businessman, right? He was just going home from work and he stopped at an arcade to play Initial D, and he was just owning in it. Like, he was focused completely on the screen. I feel like watching Japanese businessmen, like, after work, I feel like that's something that could potentially be, like, its own genre of videos.
You seen that hologram? It's kind of like Alexa, but a hologram.
Yes, I
And
have seen
yeah,
that. I
you see
want
what they
that.
did to the American version?
No, I didn't. What'd they do?
They turned into this big buff guy.
Oh.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously, men are, like, in America, American men are not the kind of people to have a hologram of a girl. But American women are the kinds of ladies to have a hologram of a guy.
What's the
I don't
Alexa
think that's it at all.
The girl one.
Hmm?
What's it look like?
It's like an anime girl. I can't remember exactly.
I still have this
Some-
image of the Pope of Aesthetics on my screen. It's like the first image that comes up when you look up Pope of Aesthetics, and it's like the greatest thing I've seen.
Japanese anime hologram.
Oh, wait. Okay, wait. Yeah, okay, wait.
Yeah, here we go. Here's a YouTube thing.
Yeah.
There you go. That's
The
what it looks like.
holographic
Some
anime character
weird
could be your
nerd
next
anime
girlfriend.
character, yeah.
There we go.
It's basically a hologram blue-haired anime monster.
I'm gonna coom!
Very significant understatement.
Yeah. Ugh. Oof.
Let me just dub this video real quick. Japanese react to hologram girlfriend.
Oh, is that you?
It's
Yeah, it's
fantastic. I coom every day.
I
That's
coom.
the reaction.
I coom. Alright, do you guys think this is a good time to wrap up the recording, at the very least?
Yeah, I would say this is probably a good time.
Naz, how about you?
Dude, you could wrap it, put it in an electrostatic bag.
Okay. I mean, the only reason I make that suggestion is because we're at the point where we're sharing videos, and videos aren't exactly something that you can show on a podcast.
Yeah.
So I kind of have to.
I mean, as long as we're describing the video.
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, there's kind of a line that has to be drawn there at some point.
Man, I've been trying to send images to make people laugh while they're talking the whole time.
I've been the only one looking at them. I got. Oh, so you like
No,
chunky
no, I've
mold
been
dressing,
looking
huh?
at them.
Blue cheese has mold in it.
I just haven't been responding. You might have heard me chuckle a few times.
Well, that's the thing. Blue cheese is mold. It doesn't have mold. It is mold. That's kind of how cheese in general is. It's just mold. That's all cheese is. People say that cheese goes bad. No, the cheese hasn't gone bad. It's just aged a bit.
Dude, there's that cheese that people eat with worms in it.
Ugh.
Oh God.
The
I know what you're
French.
talking about,
The
cheese
French will
milk.
eat anything.
It's not even French, I think. It's some British Isles thing.
Well, actually, no. There's this one thing that's been called the most disgusting food in the world. I don't remember what it is, but I think it's like something like camel fat mixed with camel fat, like been sitting out in the sun for like days on end or whatever. I'm not sure, but like there was this there's this travel show with what's his name? Something Winkler, I think. He was the author of the Hank Zipser books, and he was also an actor in a lot of movies. I just can't remember what his name is. He was in Holes. Something Winkler. Henry Winkler. No, not Henry Winkler. Well, I don't know. Anyways, he had his own little travel show, right? And in that show, he decided to try that food that was like the world's most disgusting food. He passed out just by smelling it. he just smelled it and he passed out. Just got knocked out right there, flat on the ground.
Just see that one thing I posted earlier. Oh wait, actually I don't think I posted it in Shell Zone, but I was.
Bam dunzos.
I gotta agree.
Yeah. Well, anyway, now that we're just getting into personal conversations that really people listening to a podcast wouldn't have context
hold
of.
on, I think the people listening to this podcast will want to hear this.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a mushroom that can immediately give women orgasms.
Oh, this is definitely something that listeners will want to see, or at least hear about.
Yeah, well, they'll have to see it because it's not something I can post in audio.
No. Okay, just Google. What is it
Oh,
called?
yeah. I have to find the. Let's see.
Fight it, and then we'll just like end the video on orgasmic mushrooms.
Yes, this is the name.
We're
of
just
the
gonna
mushroom.
end the video on orgasmic mushrooms.
What, like golden teachers?
Oh god. Actually, have you ever seen Shimonetta?
That sounds very familiar.
Well, it's this anime, like it takes place in a world where like anything sexual has been outlawed, right? And there's this one part in one episode where it's like, hey, what's that painting in your office? Oh, it's this nice painting I found of a girl eating a mushroom. And it's a girl sucking on a big ol' phallus. I mean,
There we go.
of course they censored the whole thing for TV, but still.
Dictivora. That's gotta be a meme. There's no way that's
That
real.
sounds like a meme to me, yeah.
Dictivora.
Just, can we look up orgasmic mushroom?
Probably.
Orgasmic mushroom. Now I gotta look that up. Does smelling a mushroom induce spontaneous orgasms in women? This is from
Is there a Snopes
Snopes.com.
article?
Yeah, it's a Snopes article. I guess I'll look at the Snopes article, why not? Give woman an earth-shattering experience.
Oh, does it say that?
Yeah, that's like when you.
It's
that's
been
like when you
unproven.
Unproven.
Yeah.
That's
So
like when you sprawl out your hand on someone else's knee.
Hold on. 6 women reportedly experienced spontaneous but not earth-shattering orgasms while smelling the fungus, and the other 10 experienced an increase in heart rate. I mean, that's probably just the spores, really. Wait, here we go. It was speculated that the fetid odor of the mushrooms may have had hormone-like compounds present, and some similarly to human neurotransmitters released during sexual encounters.
Well, the thing is, from all that I know about the human endocrine system, we don't have active pheromones in that sense, so aphrodisiacs are mostly placebo. So I think it's probably a meme.
Damn it. I wish aphrodisiacs could be real, because I may or may not have a fetish for aphrodisiacs, you know? You just,
so
like, you
happens
just
those-
smell something and then, whoo, pee-pee up.
Yeah, they're called poppers. Just so happened those women were like the city of Ophelias.
Pee-pee up, yeah, you know. Pee-pee up, you know, these things from Pokemon.
Oh,
Man, for
no,
some reason,
PP Max.
No, please tell me that's an actual thing.
That is an actual thing.
Oh,
You
yes.
have to play the newer Pokemon.
man,
PP Max.
That
for
is
some
the
reason,
thing.
I was thinking of like the anime
How have I
song
not
where it's,
known
like,
about
the drink.
that? Evidently this is in Gen 3, and I
yeah.
grew up on the Gen 3 games. How have I not heard of the PP Max? Oh great,
That's
now we
like,
have one of those woke memes about it.
Mario and Luigi. They have the
Oh, the
the
Max
big
Nut or whatever.
Max Nut. Yeah.
Big Nut. Get a boner normally. Randomly
Big
get
nut.
a boner. Use Viagra. PP up. PP Max. God, that's a good one.
Thankfully, with the miracle of editing, you can cut it whenever you want to, and just sort of hash in that audio where you start talking about closing it out now, and then you can like cut us in with us saying, "Yeah, we're gonna leave now," and cut out what you don't want.
I was not listening to a single word you said.
Damn.
Y'all ever see a Mawile suck dick through the second mouth?
Dude, I feel
What?
like I have.
I mean, that's gotta be somewhere out there on the internet, right?
Yeah, it sounds familiar. Like, I feel like I've seen it before.
Now-
but if I saw a picture, I'd recognize it.
Call me crazy, and I know this might seem like overly specific, but I might have seen a picture of I think it was of a Sableye with a, why do I want to say Marowak? It's not a Marowak. Jesus.
What's it look like?
Mawile. I think it was a Sableye and a Mawile doing that, but I can't really remember.
Man, it's just
Mawile's the
devolved.
one with that big mouth on its head.
Yeah, the mouth ponytail or whatever. I
This
think
is where
I think
we're
it's
at.
supposed to be the counterpart. I think it's supposed to be a counterpart of Sableye, but I'm not really sure.
I thought it
Oh,
was
okay.
based on, like, Japanese mythos. Or what, they don't call it mythos. Yokais.
No, that's all of Pokemon. Basically, all of Pokemon are based off of yokais.
Dude, you know what else is? I didn't believe it until I heard it.
What?
Yokai Watch.
Yo.
You know what else?
What?
I hear that this one game that I think a few of you might have heard of. It's called Toho Project.
What the hell is Toho? What the hell is Tao How Project?
Tuhu?
Tuhu?
Yeah,
Tuho?
one of those Tohus.
Hmm.
I have a Raimo Fumo.
A Reimu?
Yeah, Reimu.
Reimu.
Whatever,
Dilemma?
dude.
Rem.
I don't
Dilemma. We found ourselves in a dilemma.
There is a dilemma. We only have like a few talking points. We have Reimu armpit porn. We have Toho as a game. We have more Pokemon.
I'm very disappointed because you see armpits in 2D and then you see armpits in 3D and you're just like, wow, I wish I lived in 2D.
We can always talk about OOO.
Yeah,
And
Top 10
telephone
reasons
onions.
why 2D is better than 3D. Number 1, Reimu's
Ooh.
armpits.
Number one is definitely OOO.
Just 10 through 2. Just gone. Just go on.
10 through 2, just out of here. Got that over with.
Like a medicine listing their inactive ingredients.
Bulk filler.
Oh god. I like, my favorite thing to do in the Pokemon fusion thing or whatever is to fuse Pokemon with Mr. Mime. My favorite one is Mr. Sir. Because it reminds me of the character from Holes, right? The book / movie. So I'm just imagining like a pincer with Mr. Mime's face just walking around. My name is Mr. Sir. And then later on, Marion Seville, it's been a long time.
The Pokemon Combiner is good. You can get words like... I'm pretty sure you can get Comer.
Yeah, Coomer.
You can get
Grimer,
Farmer.
and Cubone.
If you put together Farfetch'd and Grimer, you get Farmer. Farmer.
Let's see.
Farfetch'd
I
and
might-
Grimer.
I might have an example.
Well, no, that was the one that I posted, which was it was Mr. Sir, and it was like talk shit, get hit. If I can find it, I'm not sure if it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're treading like way into the visual
Mhm.
aspect. We can't really talk about this that easily. With the audience knowing what the hell we're talking about. How long has this even been recording anyway?
A couple hours. Let's see.
An
There's
hour,
no way.
1 hour and 20 minutes so far.
That's like a best of 1 hour 20 minutes.
1 hour 20, yeah, basically. That might be the longest that I've gone in a normal conversations episode. Which I was honestly kind of expecting because this would be a group conversation.
Bruh. I gotta reset the water.
The
Yeah.
water?
I hate being asked to get up to do stuff. Yeah, like the hot water. There's like a button or something somewhere.
A button for hot water.
Yeah.
Why the hell doesn't somebody else do it?
Instant.
If it's just a button, why doesn't somebody else do it? Like, I don't know, the
Yeah.
guy who figured out that it needed to be done in the first place.
You ask me.
Well, all right, that's probably a fair time for us to at least stop the recording.
Okay.
All right then. Okay, so everybody, thank you for watching. This was Normal Conversations with Normal People, SystemSpace Edition. Please be sure to dislike, leave a hate comment, and unsubscribe if you are already subscribed. And yeah, please, whatever you do, don't watch the next video. It's gonna be even worse than this one. All right, bye.
Can you link my channel in the description? Leave
Fine.
that in.
Okay, yeah, fine. You know what?
Well,
Fine.
I've got a blog.
You want
but,
a channel that's better than mine? You want to do something that's actually worth your time? Read Lyra's blog and watch Nazashi's YouTube. Links in the
I've
description.
got all the best video
Hey.
encoding tips. You want to know about macro blocks? You want to know about fucking sine cosine transforms? I've
Said I
got
was
it all.
talking about
What the hell's a
YouTube.
tangent?
You don't know? After this whole podcast episode? That's all we've been going on.
We've been talking about tangent? Wait, hold on a second here. I'm not sure. Okay, anyway. Alright, so that's going to be it for this video. Bye. Just watch a different video.
Bye.
Watch a different video. Stop watching this one.
Bye.
Go away already, okay? Bye. Stop recording.